So in the previous video, we spoke about your offer. We spoke about how it is really important to have an offer that stands out like a fart at a funeral, for example, one that compels mass markets, stone cold people to throw their wallet at you, shut up and take my money because I want your thing, right? And when it comes down to customer acquisition, your offer is the biggest domino you need to topple because that literally is 80% of your business. It is literally your prospects' first and possible last impression of you as a business. First impression because they might look at you and go, yeah, that's not for me, then go to a competitor. Last impression because they might look at you and go to a competitor as well. But equally first impression because they might like what you do, but they just don't trust you as much at that point. So they want to learn a little bit more about you. They want you to put in the hard yards for their cash, for their wallet, for instance. And the reason why we're covering this bit is because if you are in this position of low sales, low leads, feast and famine revenue cycles, for instance, customer acquisition is going to be the biggest bottleneck you have. Because as we established in the previous video, the two biggest problems every entrepreneur faces is not enough cash flow and essentially not enough clients or not enough customers. Having a big, hairy, and audacious offer offsets both of those because you've got an offer that stands out again like a fart at a funeral, for instance, which just sucks in leads and sales at a scale that's like a black hole on steroids, and it converts them like crazy so that you constantly have cash flow coming in your business. You're no longer using your profit margins to market your business and try and get more customers, right? So having a big, hairy, and audacious offer is how you offset that. In this video, though, we're going to be talking about traffic. We've already taken that step. And we're going to be talking more specifically about the larger market equation, because this is where, again, I see 99% of businesses get it wrong. They're too busy focusing on the today customer, getting people to buy today instead of figuring out at what point will they need me. Maybe you're a personal trainer, for instance, and you work with men who you want to help feel more confident and lose weight, for instance. They might be in pain at this point in time now, yeah, but you don't know where that tipping point is going to be, where they pull out their wallet and then hit you up, go for a consultation, and then buy from you. So what we want to do is make sure that when that tipping point does happen, we are front and center of mind. We've influenced these people's buying decisions at an earlier stage. That's where the true scale is. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So let's get on with it. First thing we need to kind of iron out first, though, is there is a market out there in desperate need of your help. It's your job as the entrepreneur and as the marketer to find that market. You simply cannot create a market out of thin air, right? I spoke in the previous video about maybe you're trying to sell blindfolded straight razor vasectomies. But is there really any form of validation you've done for that service? Like if you've gone out there and you've gone, hey, I've got this great idea for a business or for a service, but you've not validated that in some way by finding a market that's interested in that, you've shot yourself in the foot before you've even started. We see time and time again on like TV shows like Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, for instance, where these entrepreneurs who've got these big grandiose goals, they go on there and they pitch their idea to like Barbara Corcoran or like to Deborah Meaden or Peter Jones, for instance. And it will be something like, I've got this great idea for waterproof tea bags. I've spent about $500,000 on this idea. I've executed it perfectly. It works. And then they'll go, but is there a market for it? And then the person will go, what? I don't know. I've not tested it. That's why I'm hiring you to help me sell it. And they're like, dude, you should have tested this first. You should have validated your idea first before really sinking that amount of money into it. And that's the issue that happens with a lot of business owners and a lot of businesses out there. They create these businesses around ideas that aren't validated and there isn't a market for. What you need to do is find a market that's in desperate need of your abilities to help them. If there is a market in desperate need of your abilities, and you need to find them. And the reason that's important is because in order for you to sell anything on planet Earth, you need demand. You need demand for the thing that you are selling. There's high demand for people to lose weight, huge demand for like gymnasiums and stuff like that. That's why those businesses and those industries, for instance, are profitable, because there's huge demand. That demand is a marketplace of people, a mass gathering of souls, a mass gathering of human beings coming together as a collective with their wallets and voting with their dollar. essentially. That's what a marketplace is. You need demand. Now, we as marketers, we are not trying to create demand. What we are trying to do is just channel it. This is an important distinction to make, because if you do not have a market for your offer, nothing that follows in these trainings that I'm about to share with you will work. It just won't work, because you're trying to convince somebody or to educate somebody who doesn't even need what you're trying to sell them, right? You're trying to convince them to buy this thing which nobody's asked for. Nobody's asked for waterproof tea bags, so why would I want one? Nobody's asked for a chocolate teapot, so why would I want one? Then you're in the position of convincing somebody rather than just channeling a desire, a primal desire to your product, and letting the product, the features and benefits do all the selling. That's the biggest difference here. You don't want to be in a position where you as the entrepreneur, you're trying to sell ice to Eskimos. They don't need it. They don't want it. They have no demand for ice. They live in the circumpolar region surrounded by the damn thing. You'll always lose out to the salesman who's going to the exact same market as you, but selling them heaters, warmer clothing, insulation for their homes to make sure they can fight the elements a lot better this year. You're always going to lose out to that salesman. And I want to share this quote with you by Eugene Schwartz, one of my all-time favorite copywriters. I have a picture of him on my office wall. And Eugene Schwartz says this in his book, Breakthrough Advertising, which I highly recommend you get. He says, and I quote, and this should be something you have up on your wall in front of you so you can read it every single day. Copy cannot create desire for a product. It can only take the hopes, dreams, fears, and desires that already exist in the hearts of millions of people and focus those already existing desires onto a particular product. This is the copywriter's task, not to create this mass desire, but to channel and direct it. Now, for the purpose of this training, I'm going to assume, yes, I did just assume your market. I'm going to assume that you already have a business and you already have a market you have defined as having like a massive pain, power to purchase, they're easy to target, and you can scale them. So for the purpose of this, I'm not going to dive into what makes a market, all of that jazz. What I am going to do, however, is talk to you about the larger market equation. So this is probably one of the biggest, most unsexiest rule of advertising and marketing, and that is you have to respect the sales process. The harsh reality is that for every single market on planet Earth, there are people who are ready to buy at this point in time, right here, right now, people who will buy in the next 90 days, and people who will buy in the next 90 days to 6 months. And then there are some people who just won't ever buy. Everybody is trying to go after these people, and they try to go after this 3% market share. And they do this by saying, for instance, we've got the lowest prices, like best stock, for instance. We've got the highest quality ingredients, lowest prices. You know, come on down to see us, Crazy Eddie here. We've got a huge sale on right now selling our supplements. Come on down, see it, buy it now, buy one, get one free. I said, you buy one, you get one free. They're trying to rope these 3% people in to their business. But the reality is, that's a very volatile market. And in order for you to really compete with these people, you need to have incredibly dialed in sales processes. The people you are competing with here are those businesses who are spending 20 to 30K a day on Facebook ads and crushing it. I want you to kind of visualize this 3% market here as a dogfight. Everybody's going into this dogfight with their purebred dog, right? Their pedigree dog. This dog here on the left side of your screen, right? They come into this party with this big beast of a unit of a hound. Do you really think that your little chihuahua could take that dog down? Your little chihuahua of a business? Like, do you think that you'd stand a chance? Because that's who you're competing against here. You're competing against businesses that have bigger budgets, that are more present on social media, that have a fully optimized funnel. Like they've optimized it to the point of where they found that having a blue buy now button increases conversion rate by 0.4% as opposed to a green buy now button. That's who you're competing with here at this point in time. They have a dialed in offer. They have email flows set up for abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, browse abandonment, for instance. They have SMS and messenger flows. They even have the ability to lose money up front because they have a wide range of stock on the back end of their business they can sell to the people they bring in on the front end. They have this down to a T. They know their numbers. They know exactly what they're doing, hence why they can compete at the highest level. They have a dog that's bred to fight in the arena that it's been made for, that arena being for the 3% of buyers. If you're turning up there with a chihuahua, you've got a tiny budget, sub-optimized funnel, you might have a sales page and like a I don't know, like a checkout page, for instance, that's about it. You've got a Me Too offer, which is, hey, look at me. I've got the same offer as them, for instance. Like I'm offering 10% off my clothing line. Hello, I've got 10% off as well. Like if you just got that type of offer, no social presence and no email, SMS, or messenger flows, but you're trying to go after these 3% of buyers, you're going to have a tough time. You're going to be steamrolled, you're going to be eaten alive by this beast next to you. You're not going to be able to compete with them. So the area which you can compete is this area right here, which is the 47% who will be willing to make a buying decision later. That's the larger market equation in a nutshell. Instead of you going after the 3% of people who are ready to buy at this point in time right now, you're going after the people who will be ready and willing and able to make a buying decision in the next 90 days to 6 months time. And that's one of the reasons why you want to go after this larger market as a traffic source, because one of the secrets of skyrocketing your sales is by appealing to this larger market, because nobody else is going after them. So I'll say this to you. Would you rather have 50% of this market here, 50% of a 3% market, which all your competitors are going after? Or would you rather have 50% of 47% who are willing to make a buying decision later? Surely the answer is this one, because that's where the real ROI lies. Because once you understand this larger market equation, you can use it to literally swoop up the majority of the market that's being ignored, because your competitors aren't going after them. They're going after those 3% people. And again, they're taking losses on the front end. They're willing to pay $200 to acquire a customer for their $50 product because they know at some point down the line, that customer who they spent $200 for will probably go on to pay $5,000, $6,000 in total. They've done the math. If you can't do that level of math, then you need to go after the larger market so you can swoop in and take them all, because they are being ignored. And the best thing about this is you have the ability to go into that market that nobody else is going after and transform that market into loyal customers who will continually drive sales into your business. But the goal that I want you to have here isn't just to target these people and then go, well, you know, I'll wait in 90 days for sales, because I don't think anybody should do that. That's one of the dumbest things you could do. I'm not saying for you either to run an ad and then see in 90 days to 6 months time if someone purchases. I'm not here to do that. What I am here to show you is how can you move that 47% of buyers to making a buying decision, like to this point right now where they're ready to buy, as quick as humanly possible. And I want to share with you and show you how to build systems that take those 47 rapidly and turn them into 3% who are ready to buy right now. Because that is one of the biggest problems that we see at this point in time. Most people and most businesses treat every lead or every prospect like the 3% who are ready to buy right now, and they have no systems in place to capture and nurture the other 47%. And I want you to kind of think of it as like farming. For instance, you don't grow an avocado tree the moment you put the seed in the ground. It takes days and weeks for that seedling to grow into a little sprout, and you need to keep watering it and nurturing it and watering it and nurturing it and giving it the right nutrients and it having the right amount of sunlight in order for it to grow to an avocado tree that's going to continuously feed you until the point that it dies. Business is the exact same. As morbid as that last part was, but business is the exact same. It's farming. You're there to build a relationship with a prospect. You need to have these different seasons, these seasons of planting, these seasons of nurturing. And then when you are ready to harvest, go in there with a right hook of an offer that's just so audacious that they'd have to be a lunatic to say no to. So here's an example of like a larger market, for instance. Let's say you're selling baby products. 3% of people who are willing to buy right now are people with actual babies. That's a very volatile market. You will be spending very, very, very high amounts of your money and your profit margins trying to get more mums and more dads to buy your stuff. Well, what about you go after expecting parents or those planning to have a family? It's a very untapped market. Who are you going to have more impact with? Are you going to have more impact with Jane, for instance, here, who's just had a baby, and she's seeing ads all over the shop for best baby stroller or help my baby sleep at night and all of this like nighttime baby formula. Or are you going to have more impact with this one here where you're going, hey, you're pregnant, congratulations, what an exciting time this is. And as exciting as it is, it's also nerve-wracking. So here's 5 tips for soon-to-be parents, soon-to-be mums on how to make sure their baby is happy the moment you bring it home. Here's step number 1. Here's how to help your baby sleep at night. Step number 2, here's how to make sure your baby's comfortable. Step number 3, right? What's going to have more impact to that prospect? The latter of the 2 of those ads. One of them, which is direct response, like, hey, buy my stuff, isn't going to cut the mustard with an ad that says, hey, look, congratulations, what an exciting time, what a beautiful time, you're going to be a parent. Here's 5 tips to help you be the best dad or the best mum you can be. That will have significantly more impact, which means when she becomes a mum and it comes close to the time of that baby knocking on the door, like, hey, I want to leave, it's cramped in here now, she's going to buy from that brand because they've been there every step of her journey with her. They've helped guide her through this time that she's in. That's an untapped market. That's where the revenue is. What's going to have more impact to the prospect? An ad here for this person, which is like, hey, look at my coaching program. Look at all these testimonials, buy my stuff. Or this person here who's going, hey, look, if you're thinking about running your first marathon, way before you even think about a coaching program, you need to really think about your nutrition and what shoes you need to wear to run this race, right? Because you're going to be spending 4 or 5 hours just running nonstop. You want to make sure you've got comfy shoes. Here's a testimonial from some of my clients who spoke about the best running shoes you can get. What will have more impact? The latter of the 2 ads. Again, that larger market equation. Here's another example, right? Skincare. Let's say, for instance, you're selling face washers and moisturizers. What will be a more impactful ad? An ad for the 3%, which is basically, hey, look, this helps reduce the signs of acne and scarring, or an ad that goes, hey, this is my nighttime skin routine. I'm going to share with you and show you what I do to help keep my skin looking this way. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. By the way, all the products that I've just used in this video are from this brand right here. This is my own business. I highly recommend you check them out. There's a reason why I use them, because they help my skin look like this. I know they can do the same thing for you too. What will have more impact? The latter of the 2. Again, targeting the 47% of people. Why? Because like everything else that we've seen so far, you've demonstrated you can help somebody by actually helping them. And the reality is, in order for you to really take somebody from just browsing to shut up and take my money, you need to go after that 47% of people who aren't ready to buy now, but could be very soon. And you also need to educate them. Because when a prospect isn't informed or knowledgeable on a subject, they are in a state of uncertainty, and people don't buy in a state of uncertainty or confusion. But the more they know, the more they like you, and the more they trust you, the more likely they are to buy. The more you educate them on why your dog supplement helps alleviate hip and joint pain, the more inclined they are to buy. The more you help somebody understand why your skincare product's really good and helps with acne and dark spots, the more inclined they are going to be to buy. That's just how this works. The bonus here is, if you're the one doing the educating and you're educating them in person, for instance, well, not in person, like you're there giving like a PowerPoint presentation like me. What I mean is you're giving them video content and you're demonstrating you can help them by actually helping them. You're also making sure that when they do hit that buy now stage, they'll be more likely to buy from you and not your competitor, because you've done the hard yards. You've been there when they've needed you. You've demonstrated you can help them by actually helping them. And people like their problems being solved, and they're more attracted to magnetically people who have already helped them in the past. It's very nerve-wracking as a consumer to invest in something you don't know or don't trust yet. However, when it's somebody you know, like, and trust, it's very easy to invest money into them. It's very easy for you to logically come in your mind that I could pay this person, I'll be satisfied because they've helped me before in the past. That's how this works. And one thing to take into consideration here is, to do this, your message needs to be powerful. It needs to be insightful and education-based, and not just a simple promotional piece or another thing talking about your business. There's a great page in one of Russell Brunson's books where he talks about what are the objections your prospect has to the vehicle that you are presenting. And what he basically means by that is, people have been sold lies and they've heard everything under the sun to sell them a product, right? So people in the weight loss niche, for instance, or interested in losing weight, for example, they've heard about how this product can help get rid of unsightly belly fat. They've heard all of that. They've bought the products. They've been burned so many times. They've dieted, they've crashed, they've put it all back on. So they're obviously they're going to be skeptical. These people have heard this BS before, which is why it's not just about giving them a promotional piece, because you know full well that they've likely heard the exact same claims that you're coming out with. You know, oh, here's another skincare brand that's going to help me get rid of acne because the 50 other creams I've tried before has really helped me out. So when you acknowledge that that's going to be an initial skepticism that somebody already has about your product, it allows you to then be more insightful and clear with your messaging and your marketing and lead from a place of education to allow them to come to that conclusion themselves that actually, I trust this brand. I trust what I've seen from this brand. I will buy their stuff. That's the power of this. That's why it's so powerful. Because what's happening here is you're changing the dynamics and the psychology of the relationship that you are building with your potential customer. People don't technically or genuinely build relationships with businesses because they understand businesses as being these cold, callous, and calculated machines that are just out there to turn a profit. Now, don't get me wrong. The number one goal of a business is to be profitable. That's just by design. But people are aware of the fact that they know that these people will say anything they can to get my money to buy their thing. But what they want is not words, but actions. So when you lead from this place of education, naturally those people are more inclined to be warmer to you. They're more inclined to want what you're selling. They're more inclined to do business with you in the future because, again, you've been there when they've needed the help the most. That's how powerful this is. And I want you to think again, like I said this in the previous slide, think about why you're here, but genuinely think about why it is that you're here. Think about the amount of time we're spending over the course of this course, for instance. That's just in the first 2 videos, but there's another 4 or 5 parts of this. Think of the relationship you and I are going to build together over the time of us doing this together, right? We're going to be spending a lot of time with each other, a lot of minutes. I'm demonstrating I can help you by actually helping you. Like I've said before, it's my hope that through doing this, when you do start to amass loads of emails from your ads and your marketing, that you'll want to turn them into profit and you'll think of nobody else other than us here at Greyhound to help you do that. But what's beautiful about this, which is why I want you to implement it in your business because it works, is instead of you chasing after customers and chasing after prospects or chasing after clients or leads, they're coming to you. But I don't want you to shy from this because this is genuinely vitally important for any business looking to grow rapidly and also consistently. Any business looking for scale, you need to have a system that takes cold traffic from Google, Facebook, wherever it is that you've got it, and then warms them up. You need to have something that filters the wheat from the chaff so that you're not talking to time wasters, you're not talking to interested prospects. Whether that is, for instance, hey, here's a guide, here's the top 5 tips guide to have clearer skin in the next 7 days. Who's going to download that? Who's going to read that? People interested in those types of products. So if you show them how to do that and then put your product at the end with, say, for instance, thank you for downloading this free report, celebrate it by having 25% off your first order, what's going to happen from there? You've shown and you've demonstrated you can help somebody by actually helping them, that you've given them an incentive to act. You've rapidly changed the dynamic. You've sent somebody from here to, I'm not really interested in this. I might be, but maybe in the next couple of months or so, you've sent them straight from here at the bottom part of this circle all the way to shut up and take my money because this is exactly what I've been looking for. That's why you need to lead from this place of education. It's so important because then you're no longer spending hours trying to educate a customer that your solution is best. You're just collecting cash. That's literally all you're doing. These prospects are doing it to themselves. You've got these systems in place. They're downloading these lead magnets. They're downloading these free reports, for instance. They're engaging with your video content, showing them, again, these top 5 ways to get washboard abs, these 5 reasons why your dog is limping. They're interacting with all of this content that's demonstrating you can help them by actually helping them to the point of where they just go, hey, can I buy your stuff? And you go, yeah, here's the link. And then you just collect the dollar. Your systems are doing the selling, not you. They're doing the grunt work. They're the ones educating the prospects. Your ads and your email flows and your strategy, for instance, is the one educating the prospects, following up with them, and delivering content that educates and converts at scale. That's the beauty of this here. And the greatest thing is as well, when they do reach out to you and they are ready to make that purchasing decision, you already know that they are predisposed, pre-qualified, ready, willing, and able to do business with you. They are literally 99% ready to buy. All they need is a link and a reason why. And ultimately, that is how you win the game of business. You educate your prospects so they know more about the process of solving their problem, and they're empowered to make that better buying decision. They feel better about the decision they're about to make. They feel like they're in a more educated position to do that. You then take your best sales pitch or your frequently asked questions, for instance, you turn them into assets that nurture prospects on autopilot. So you have email automation sequences built over these lead magnets, for instance, which show people 5 ways to have clearer skin in the next 7 days, or 10 exercises to eliminate unsightly belly fat, for example. You're giving them information, at the same time moving them up to that 3% because you've demonstrated you can help them by actually helping them. And then all you need to do at that point is position your solution as the obvious choice by making them an irresistible offer. Hence why the first part of this training was so important. And the best part, you get to reach your dream customers before they even know they're ready to buy, thus reaching them well before your competitors even have the chance to. So how do you do this? Well, the best way to achieve this is through a sales funnel. Now, there's 2 descriptions that I have for a sales funnel. The first of those, which I'll share with you a little bit more in context when we talk about media buying and strategy for your advertising, is like top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, cold, warm, hot. Where do you send traffic at the top, middle, and bottom? That type of stuff, right? That's what a kind of typical funnel looks like. A funnel, in another sense, is basically a controlled path that an online user takes to become a website visitor, then a prospect, and finally a customer. It's essentially a way to convert prospects from uninterested, confused wanderers into becoming your best customers, into becoming customers for a lifetime. That's essentially what a funnel is in a nutshell. There's 2 descriptions of it. We're going to be looking at the latter description in the next part of this training. So what most people's funnels look like is this. Here's an ad, buy my shit, which is literally the same as saying, you want some fuck. That is literally it. That's like going into a nightclub and meeting the first person you see and going, you want some sex? Like, do you fancy a bang? Like, there's only going to be 3% of people in that nightclub who would look at you and go, yeah, why not? Yeah, man, why not? It's a free world. I'm very liberal in that sense, like free spirit. Like, why not? Most people would look at you a bit weird in that Darth Vader outfit and go, what are you doing, bro? Like, please leave. They'd be a bit off-putted with it. But that's what most people's sales funnels look like. And the reality is, human behavior doesn't work that way, which is one thing like that always kind of irks me when it comes to like marketing and advertising. People who kind of think that getting a customer is just as simple as, walking into a bar and sleeping with the first person you see. Like, they're the type of people who don't appreciate human nature. Like, they literally see customers as just numbers on a spreadsheet. Like, why is that ad not converting? Why, do you mean, without really thinking about the human being at the end of the phone or the human being at the end of the laptop screen, for instance? Because getting a customer is a lot like getting a girlfriend or boyfriend. It has specific stages. They first need to know you exist. You have to engage with them. They have to kind of subscribe to you in a way, like, know that you're cool. Actually, you're somebody I'd like to hang out with. You then need to convert them, enhance the relationship, ascend them in your life, taking them from girlfriend and boyfriend to fiance to husband and wife. They then need to be an advocate of yours, and they then need to promote you. Not physically to like their other partners by going, oh, Jack's great in bed, but I mean, in a sense of, like talking to their parents about how great you are, like saying like, oh yeah, they do all this stuff for me. Like, that's the type of stuff that we're looking for here. And let's break this down in a little bit more granular detail just so you understand it. But attention, like we spoke about earlier, people need to know that you exist in order to do business with you. And how can they do business with you if they don't know you exist? The exact same goes in the dating analogy. If you're trying to get people to date you, how are they supposed to date you if they don't even know you're available or if they don't even know you exist? So you need to grab your avatar's attention. You need to grab your your prospect's attention. You need to grab that guy at the bar's attention, that girl at the bar's attention. How do you do that? You introduce yourself, you make yourself known. That's what advertising and marketing is. In a definition sense, it's making yourself known. And the best way to do that is through ads, social media content, blogs, articles, for instance. In a dating metaphor, this would be creating a profile on Tinder. That's a great way to show people that, hey, I'm on the market. I'm looking for somebody to, meet up with, have some fun with, whether that's Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, whatever it may be. That's how you generate attention. Simple as that. You then need to engage with your prospect. Once you've captured that attention, how do you keep and nurture that attention? How are you going to capture it in the best possible way? Like how are you going to get them interested in what you can offer? The same way in a dating analogy is like, well, you've just matched with this person on Tinder. How do you capture and keep their attention to the point where they actually are interested in meeting up with you? Or like, how do you keep and capture the person's attention you've just met at the bar? You do this maybe not through articles and blogs, but in terms of like marketing and advertising your business, you do this with articles, you do this with ads, you do this with blogs, content, again, social media content, insert, like complete this quote or complete this sentence, caption competitions, that type of stuff. In a dating metaphor, this would be talking to that person at a bar and sliding in their DMs and just holding a conversation with them. Just instead of trying to get in their pants or get it to go your way, you're genuinely engaging with this person on a human to human level. You're asking them how their day was, like what it is they do for a living, like what's their family like, what's their mum like, their dad like, all of that stuff. You're just genuinely engaging with somebody on a human to human level. Subscribing them. How do you get that person to keep wanting to see you or to take the relationship away from where you've met them? In a marketing sense, this would be, getting somebody to download like an ebook or a lead magnet, or get them to watch a video or sign up for a webinar, because people show interest by exchanging two of their most valued commodities, that being their time and their money. So how can you get somebody to make that conversion? In a dating metaphor, this would be somebody, this would be you getting their number so you can talk to them outside of the nightclub you've met them in. Then how do you get them to convert? How do you get them to make a micro commitment? Remember, people show interest by investing their time and or their money. So how do you get these prospects to essentially meet you for coffee or dinner? Maybe again, it's a tripwire offer, like a low ticket, $3, $4, $5, $6 product or service, for instance. Like here's a free course, go input your email here and get access to the entire library. How do you get them to convert and make that micro commitment? In a dating metaphor, this is essentially your first date. It's, you want to show your value to that person. And the same is said with marketing. You want to show your value to that prospect. You've got their email, you've got them to subscribe to a newsletter. Now give them value. You've got this person to have a date with you. They've agreed to meet you for coffee outside the confines of like a nightclub, whether with their friends and they feel safe. They're meeting you one-on-one for a drink. How can you provide value to their life? Like what separates you from every other person they've had a date with? What separates you from every other guy they've dated or every other girl they've dated? Enhance. How can you enhance the relationship that you've built with your prospect? You do that with more content, more free stuff. You say to them, hey, look, if you enjoyed this free course that you've just gone through, then you'll really love our program. Go and have a look here. By the way, here's a free taster for it. Or, hey, look, here's 10, 15% off your first order. That's how you do things. How do you enhance the relationship you've built with a person, for instance, in a dating analogy? Well, you go on more dates, you buy them presents, you give them gifts. You go, hey, look, I got you some flowers. Or, hey, do you want to go out for dinner this time instead of for a coffee? Shall we go watch a movie? Like you be extra kind to people. You show them that you're interested in this relationship that you're chasing after. Next is ascension. This is the real deal. You're going to be asking the most important question. You're going to be asking that person, will you be my customer? Will you be my boyfriend? Will you be my girlfriend? And there's two things to take into consideration here. Number one is, what is the ascension model of your business? So for instance, in this dating analogy, you've got a girlfriend, then there'll be like your fiance, then your wife, and then maybe the mother of your children. That's the ascension model. Do you have that in your business? Once somebody's bought the initial product, then what happens after? Do you have like courses and programs they can enroll in? Or do you have other products they'd be interested in? Like if they've just bought this face wash, do you have like a cleanser and moisturizer? Like What's the next step for this prospect? You don't want them to just buy once and never again. You want them to have a ladder to climb, a metaphoric ladder to climb. That's why it's called an ascension model. What can you do to ascend these people to the top of your pyramid? How do you take them from, girlfriend to fiance? How do you take them from being your customer to then buying the next part of your program or buying another product of yours? What's worth noting here is that in order for you to get your customer to the next part of this ascension model, you need to go through series of enhanced cycles. So of enhance and conversion cycles in order to get them to go to that next stage. So a great example of this would be when you ask someone to be your boyfriend or you'll be your girlfriend, you can't immediately ask them to marry you because that's just a bit weird and not many people would say yes. You have to nurture the relationship with that person so that they go, do you know what, actually, I can't imagine life without this person. That goes through a series of nurture. You can't do that straight away. The exact same goes with your business. You need to get somebody to convert and be your customer first, and then go through another series of enhancing the relationship before you go, hey, look, how about will you be interested in my other program? Say, for instance, you've sold them like a course for $997 and you want to sell them your mastermind. You can't do that straight away. They have to go through enhancement cycles. You have to teach them, coach them, educate them, help them get the result that they're looking for. And then when it comes to you saying, will you be my wife? Will you be my husband? Do you want to buy my mastermind, for instance? They'll be more inclined to say yes because you've enhanced that relationship further. Next up is advocate. Now, this is where it gets a bit weird for the dating analogy, but just humor me for this. How can you get your customer to be your biggest fan? How do you get them to promote you to others? How do you get them to absolutely adore you? Maybe again, you do things like more educational content. Maybe you go the extra mile for them. Like I saw this beautiful this beautiful piece of branding earlier, and it was basically this lady's dog had just died and she bought some new pet food and the dog died suddenly. So what she did was she contacted the brand that she got the food from and said, hey, look, my dog's just died, can I return this? And not only did they give her a full refund, they also said to her, go give that food to like a dog shelter to help like those dogs out, and they even sent her flowers to say sorry for your loss. That's how you get somebody to be an advocate of your brand, by doing and stepping out of those boundaries and doing more than what most people would. And again, I guess in a dating analogy, like how do you get your wife or your husband to sing your praises to their family and friends? You'd help out around the house a lot more. You'd help them chase their dreams. You'd promote them to chase their dreams. You'd be a supportive, loving, considerate partner. That's how you can get someone to be an advocate of you. The same goes with your branding and your advertising. And lastly, you have promote. So how do you get prospects to promote you to other people? Do you even have this in your business? There's a key question as well. Do you have like an affiliate scheme or a rewards program that essentially allows you to reward people for bringing you in more business? We at Greyhound, we have a referral scheme, which is essentially if you refer somebody to us and they become a client, we give you 40% off their first month. So whatever money we charge them for the first month, say for instance, they pay us $4K a month to do their email, we give you $2K. That's our reward scheme. That's our referral program. ClickFunnels has the affiliate program of like, we can help you buy your dream car. Whatever your dream car is, will help you get there by, basically sharing ClickFunnels with the world. And if you love ClickFunnels and you like what they do, you can get rewarded for it, which is fantastic. Like it's a great thing. Do you have one in your business? Do you have a thing in your e-commerce business, for instance, which basically goes, hey, look, if you refer 5 friends, we'll give you $100 store card, for instance. And in a dating analogy, maybe not promote your partner in this one. Like I don't think that would end well, but there you are. And the beautiful thing about this is you control this entire process. You control it with your ads, you control it with your marketing, your branding, the emails you write and send out to your market. And it is the fastest way for you to take somebody from cold, hard prospect to shut up and take my money in no time flat. And that's it. That's traffic. So we've established so far your offer. We've now spoke about traffic. In the next video, we'll be talking all about strategy. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.